Our guest today is Ron Sowell. Ron is best known for his role as music director for Mountain Stage, the critically acclaimed international radio show emanating from West Virginia. Ron is also a dynamic singer, songwriter, guitar player, ukulele player, and harmonica player, and a performer and music producer. Ron, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Jim.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about your story.
Yeah.
Positively West Virginia. Positively West Virginia.
Positively West Virginia is powered by Breezeline high-speed fiber internet and sponsored by Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, and Humble Influence. With the help of these sponsors, we're able to share the positive business stories of West Virginians, including the one from today's episode.
Ron, again, let's start at the top. For our listeners who may not know Ron Sowell, give us an overview. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, at the basis of everything, I'm a musician.
Yeah.
I played the guitar since I was 13 years old, and I've been singing my whole life and writing songs, and that spilled off into a lot of different things. When I moved to West Virginia, I started a couple of bands. You mentioned you had one of my early albums with the Putnam County Pickers.
The Putnam County Pickers, and, I love it, And
then Stark Raven, and Mountain Stage grew up in my backyard, and became a member of the Mountain Stage Band, and eventually became the music director. So you know, I know you do a lot of commercials and stuff. I've done a lot of that kind of work. Just about anything. As a musician, just about anything musical that will pay the rent. You know, that's the way.
Absolutely.
I discovered early on that if that you spend your time where you make your money, that makes that sounds pretty basic. But as a musician, a lot of us get jobs as waiters or house painters or newspaper route or whatever. And I've done all those things. Yeah. But I just at one point decided that I was going to limit it to things that were music related, and sometimes they're a little, you can.
Well, I think that's great because following your passion is very important, and actually using the talent and skills that you've been blessed with is very important as well. And you're all in on music, and I love that.
Well, when I was graduating from college, I had always thought I was going to be a lawyer. I majored in political science.
Where'd you go to school?
Eastern New Mexico University.
Okay, that's where you grew up, right?
I grew up
out west.
in New Mexico, in Roswell, New Mexico.
All right.
If I turn slightly and they get the lights just right, you can see the green aura.
That's great.
But so I went. But I was graduating from school, and I'd always just assumed that I was going to go to law school, and then when I started filling out the papers to take my LSAT, I just kind of froze, and I thought, what's happening here? I realized I don't want to do this. It's just something. I mean, I love the education. I love the history and political science and all that, but to do something else but music, it just didn't feel right. So I just at that moment, the clouds parted and the sunshine came through, and I said, "Oh, I'm a musician, and this is what I want. This is who I am, and this is who I'm going to be." And ever since that moment, I've never looked back, and I've never regretted it.
Yeah, that's a true calling when you come to that actualization. So take us back to that young boy, Ronnie, when you were 13 years old, and you get your first guitar. And what was that like when you first held that piece of wood in your hands?
Oh my God! I just my mom saw a article, advertisement in the local paper, and they advertised a guitar and lessons for the summer, and it wasn't. I mean, this was a long time ago, so and so I got a $15 Stella guitar.
Yeah.
And lessons for the summer.
Yeah.
And,
Was it the old Mel Bay method?
well, yeah, more or less. Yeah, I did have a teacher, but
That's great. Yeah.
I did have a teacher, but I have a funny story that I was really what I was into when a kid was sports.
Yeah.
And I played baseball and I played basketball and football, just one to the other, just the whole time, all the way through high school.
Sure.
So the year that I started guitar lessons, I was also in a summer basketball league. So my mom, my sweet, kind mom, who gifted me with the guitar and encouraged me to take the lessons and everything, she comes to pick me up at the gym and to take me to my guitar lesson. And I said, well, Mom, this is getting in the way of my basketball playing. I think I'm going to quit. And I saw a side of my mom I'd never seen before. She said, look, I bought you the guitar. I purchased the lessons. You will finish the summer. Oh. And then at that point, if you want to quit, that's your choice. Yeah. And thank God for that. I continued. Like a month later, I met a kid down the block who played better than I did, and all of a sudden we were playing 5 hours a day, and then I was addicted.
Yeah,
and it's
wow.
And so,
that encouragement from your mom was very impactful for sure.
So all you kids, all you moms out there, if their kids are going to quit their lessons,
you got to stay with it at least till they run out, right?
Yeah,
that's awesome, and I love that. And here you are, all these years later, and you've made your livelihood.
I can't imagine. I think about this sometimes, but what would my life be like today? How different would I be? Where would I be? What would I be doing if my mom had not insisted that I finish those guitar lessons for the summer? I mean, it was literally a life-changing moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So what brought you to West Virginia from New Mexico?
Well, out of New Mexico, I moved to Dallas and started playing in a lounge at the Steak and Ale restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
There,
that's top tier right there.
Oh, that's right. That's a career move, and I was also playing in a place called the Rubaiyat, which was a place where you could do your original music too, and I started. I applied for the college coffee house circuit at the time, which booked gigs in all the different universities and stuff, and so I started traveling around the country, and I had in between I'd lived in New Orleans too. I lived in New Orleans for a year, which was quite an experience. Yeah, but I had this gig at the Wheeling Jesuit University at the coffee house. Yeah. And I had about 3 days off after that performance, and a friend of mine I'd met in New Orleans had moved to Putnam County, West Virginia. Yeah. So I thought, well, I'll just go visit him. And when I got here, I had looked at this land, and God, this is so beautiful. And I love the people, and I just thought, wow, this just blew me away. It's not what I was expecting. And my friend said, well, there's a little farmhouse down the bottom of the holler here for rent, and you ought to check it out. And so I thought, well, I could do that for the summer. Yeah. That was 1974, so it's been a long summer, Jim.
Wow.
Wow. And so West Virginia.
And you've been here ever since.
It captured me like it does a lot of people. You know.
Well, you mentioned, we kind of joked off air, and then just right at the open of the show about Putnam County Pickers. And I mentioned, it is crazy. I only have a few vinyl records. I used to have a big collection, but It's About Time.
Yes,
is your Putnam County Pickers album that I have. I have the vinyl, and I should have brought it in and had you sign it for me, because that's one of my cherished records, because that reminds me of my time that I spent living in Putnam County with my family. It was when I was a boy. So you started that band, and did that kind of like increase your trajectory as a musician? And
well, it did. To tell you the truth,
take us back to that time. Yeah.
we had this community, and a lot of us arrived here in the 70s.
Yeah.
There was a back to the land movement because the land was cheap here, and there was a movement in our generation to live in a more simple way and get closer to the land.
I love that. Yeah.
And so that's what attracted me here. And we had this community, and we would get together 2-3 times a week and have community dinners. And several of us were musicians, so naturally we would bring our guitars and our instruments
Start playing,
and we would
jam
start
sessions.
music. And that led to this band. Now, I didn't want to be in a band. I was a solo act at the time. And so, but Jim Andrews from the cultural center was just beginning. They built the center there in Charleston.
Yeah, is it Sunrise? Is that,
no, it's right there
the
at
Charleston
the Capitol.
Cultural Center.
And where we do our Mountain Stage show.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
The theater.
Yeah.
And this Jim Andrews was one of the people in the organization there, and he came out to where we practiced in our living room in Putnam County, and auditioned us there. He came out and took off his suit after work and put on his mud boots and hiked up the side of the hill and he gave us an opportunity to play in a showcase in Clarksburg.
Wow.
And we must have gotten 50 gigs out of that. And so all of a sudden I was in this band that was in demand, and I still didn't want to be in a band, but I thought, well, I'll just stay here, and ride this out for a while. And it just, we were doing original music, which really nobody else at the time was doing.
A lot of cover bands.
Everybody was telling us, no, you can't do that. You'll not make a living. You have to do songs that people are familiar with.
Right,
and we said, well, maybe so, but we just feel like we need to do this. And because of that, we became kind of unique, and start kind of, I think we're kind of on the edge of a musical movement at the time, where other bands said, hey, they can do original music, well, we'll do it.
Groundbreaking, really, just to a large degree.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Ron, this is, we're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
Your prescriptions are designed to keep you healthy, active, full of life. At Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're making vital medicine more affordable. Because when your prescriptions don't cost an arm and a leg, you can use those limbs for something more meaningful. Because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, West Virginia.
Stay connected with an unbeatable deal from Breezeline. Voted best in Mountaineer Country for their reliable, high-speed fiber internet for a low cost, Breezeline is the best gig in town. Here at InnerAction Media, we rely on high-speed internet every single day to ensure we can deliver the best content possible for our clients and when we publish Positively West Virginia each week. That's why we use Breezeline. It's affordable, fast, and they're great people as well. Learn more about Breezeline's internet, TV, and mobile options at breezeline.com. Folks, we're back. We're visiting with Ron Sowell. Ron is the music director of Mountain Stage. We're talking about his musical journey as a musician, how he got here to West Virginia. Ron, what's the thing you're most excited about right now for your music?
Well, I'm really excited that I'm still writing songs and producing music and when we did our 30th anniversary of Mountain Stage, which was, now we're at 43 for 43rd year. Wow. The local newspaper did an article on the band, on the Mountain Stage band, and they asked each of us, interviewed each of us, and the last question that I was asked was, Ron, well, you've been doing this a long time. Or do you ever think about retiring?
Oh. And
I said, so I'll have more time to play music? What kind of question is this? So I'm really excited that this doesn't have to stop, you know? I mean, it's that, and that's what my album, which I know you're going to get to, but
Dance Till the Music Stops. This is the new CD by Ron Sowell. Tell us about this CD and the journey of getting these songs on an album.
Well, so during COVID, COVID was the positive side of COVID was that for me, I had of course a lot of time, more free time then, because nobody was going out to hear music, right?
Sure.
So I lost my train of thought. So I said to myself, you know, I've been saying that if I just had more free, unstructured time, I would write more. And I thought, well, here we are. All excuses are gone.
Yeah.
So I had already written several songs, and I had a bunch of ideas for songs. And I enlisted my friend John Wickstrom, who now lives in Baltimore, but he's from West Virginia. He's from Charleston.
Yeah.
We've been writing songs for years. I said, hey, John, you want to help me, flesh these songs out? So we had we FaceTimed each other once a week, and we wrote about 25 songs.
Oh my goodness!
And I pared those down to for the album 10 songs, and just the hardest thing for me. I produce other people's albums.
Yeah.
I'm a producer, so it's easy for me to tell somebody, hey, we've got to do this, and this is the deadline. When I'm producing my own albums, I keep putting it off. So finally I said, I'm going to do this. So I have access to a deep bench of really great musicians here in West Virginia.
That's amazing.
And these songs I felt were some of the best songs I've ever written. And also, you were talking about It's About Time, the first album, and that was 1976 or 7 or something like that. And so each album is like a snapshot of where you are in your life.
Yeah.
So this one is a snapshot about, in my perspective, how I see things.
And it just came out in 2025. So this is like this is the real Ron right now at this moment.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love it. And I feel like, if you don't mind me asking, what is your age?
I'm 78.
78, man. You're this is so cool.
Yeah.
Like you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
You're not going to retire.
No.
You're going to dance till the music, you're going to play till the music stops. I love it. Well, Ron, take us back now to your experience, because you've been with Mountain Stage since the ideation of the inception. And, give us the overview I've been to Mountain Stage here in Morgantown. You guys were just here last night at the Creative Arts Center on the campus of West Virginia University. Tell us about Mountain Stage. What does it mean to you? And what does it represent? Well,
it came along for me at a time I was on the road all the time, and I had a young daughter. In fact, that's her right there.
Oh my gosh.
She's not that age anymore, but in fact, she's going to be on the show next week, singing. Gosh. She's a great singer.
Great.
But what was the question?
The question was, just like the ideation.
Stage,
what does Mountain Stage represent? What's it stand for?
Okay, Mountain Stage is. Larry Gross used to refer to it as roots music.
Roots music.
And what it is it gives a platform to all different kinds of music. It doesn't matter if it's African music, Celtic music, country music, jazz, blues,
bluegrass,
folk music, bluegrass. Yeah. If it's the real deal, that's what we're looking for.
Authentic,
it's any particular show can be. It could be all Chicago blues bands, or it could be all bluegrass, or it might be Chicago blues band and bluegrass and a folk singer. It's
exactly.
there are no there's no particular genre, and we give a platform to people that a lot of people who don't get their music played on commercial radio stations.
Yeah.
So it's we're on 265, I think, stations coast to coast now, and internationally too.
Yeah.
We're they stream the show, and so it's a huge audience, and so it's we've helped break a lot of people. So people we've had on the show who were unknown at the time. I'll never forget going to this show one Sunday morning and said, well, now who is this Nora Jones? And that's never heard of her. Wow. Her album had just come out, and just on a little kind of off, I think Blue Note. I think it's a jazz label.
Yeah.
Bam! 6 months later, she was everywhere.
Yeah. Nora Jones is one of my wife and I's favorite.
Oh,
I got a chance to see her, not at Mountain Stage, but live at Heinz Hall about a couple of years ago.
What a voice! What a beautiful
I didn't realize
artist.
when she first came out. I was a big fan immediately, but she was the daughter of Ravi Shankar. One of the most, influential sitar players of all time, right?
That's right. He's the one that taught
George Harrison
on the Beatles albums.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat how music ties us all together. So I noticed on your jacket, Mountain Stage with Kathy Mattea.
Yeah.
Now tell us a little bit about that edition.
Well, for years, of course, Larry Gross, he was with one of the founders and the host of the show, and he did almost 1,000 shows. He was his goal was to do 1,000 shows and then retire, but COVID hit, and so he was a few shows short, basically 1,000 shows. Yep. So about the last couple of years, we started entertaining and auditioning other hosts, and we had a number of people come in and host the show, and by far our favorite was Kathy.
Yes.
And of course, she has the gravitas of being a huge country star, but also she's from West Virginia. She loves Mountain Stage. She's been on Mountain Stage, as a guest probably 20 times. So and we thought, oh, she's perfect. But of course, she's just real. She's a real. There's not a diva bone in her body, and I can tell you that. I work with her every week, and she is so authentic, and but we thought, well, she's perfect, but she'll probably never do it. It just came at a perfect time in her career, where she was ready to evolve into something else, and she loved the show. She loved what it stood for, and so she has been a total joy to work with.
That's amazing.
I
love that.
Kathy.
Thank you for that background.
Can I tell you a little story?
Yeah.
I told you I was 78.
Yeah.
Kathy used to come out when she was in high school and listen to my band, the Putnam County Pickers.
Are you serious? How cool is that?
I didn't know at the time.
How cool is that? Well, I think she grew up right there in Cross Lanes. Went to WVU, I believe, and so I went to junior high in Cross Lanes at Andrew Jackson Junior High back then. Lived on the Poker River there.
River.
But I'll tell you a little story about Kathy. Of course, I love her music. Her country music especially, and she's a star, international star. But when I have a son, his name is Dylan, and he loves music. I think he got that from me. But it's interesting because in grade school, they had to write a paper about somebody famous. And he picked Kathy Mattea. Now, my son has cerebral palsy. So he is in a wheelchair, and that's how he gets around and everything. And he works at a community rehab program. Now he's 30. He's going to be 36 this year. But he wrote this paper on Kathy Mattea and what a great singer she was and how he loved her music. And this was in like a special ed class. While the teacher, unbeknownst to us, sent that paper to Kathy Mattea. And not only did she write a little note, she wrote a personal note to my son Dylan. We still have it somewhere in a box, but it was one of those keepsakes talking about how honored she was that she was the subject of his paper. And there was a little background about the whole thing. And I just thought, I mean, who does that? I mean,
Kathy, that doesn't surprise me.
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Like I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you this story. Nobody really has probably heard
You
this
know,
story.
as a parent, that means that probably meant everything to
Yeah,
you.
well, it is, especially as a parent with special needs,
Yeah.
that she took time out
Yeah.
to recognize his effort, you know. And I don't know. I'm just sharing this with you. I'm getting emotional about it, but it was a great thing, and so I appreciate you sharing that. That's the kind of person that she is. Because
what you see is what you get with her.
Yeah,
you know,
that's awesome.
She's the same off stage.
So so as the music director for Mountain Stage, what do you do? What's your role?
Okay, my besides playing in the band, of course, I play guitar and I play harmonica.
Yeah,
Last night I sang background harmonies, so it just depends what is needed.
Did you sing what Don was?
No, God.
That'd be kind of cool.
He didn't need me. He did just fine by himself. But what I usually like Don was brought a 9-piece group, so he was self-contained. Yeah. But there, like next week, we have 2 guests coming on. Yeah. And each of them have done albums. And they go, so they do a fully produce an album, but then they go out and tour. And of course, you know, it takes money to take people with you and do all that.
Feed them.
So they'll come in and
yeah.
they'll say, "I'd like to use the band," you know. And so it's my job to help them pick the songs out, to chart the songs for the band, to assign parts to the band, to get the band all prepped and ready. And we do all this ahead of time, and then on show day, we put it all together during sound check. You know, we'll have like an hour with him. We're only doing 2 to 4 songs, sometimes 5 songs. Yeah. But I've got a great group of musicians that I work with, and they prepare, and they're great under pressure, and so we can just get in and just knock this stuff out, and that's and we've gotten to play with everybody.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, if you wouldn't mind, I'm putting you on a spot a little bit, but tell me, like, one of your favorite performances, like one of the, in terms of artists on Mountain Stage, that you get to kind of be a part of that whole experience.
Yeah. You know, gosh, I should have really thought about this, because you know, it's like when somebody says, "Play me your favorite song." You know, I know 1,000 songs, and then I can't think the first one. You know,
I can't even think of one.
But I mean, I've had some wild experiences. You know, playing with Dr. John.
Oh my gosh,
who,
legend.
Now I tell you, he was a little intimidating for me, but it was thrilling.
You spent a year in New Orleans, so
that's
his.
And we played with Alan Toussaint as well.
Yeah,
I mean, all these New Orleans guys, and I got to play with. I mean, really didn't get to play except for the finale with like Gordon Lightfoot and people like that.
So cool.
There've been people. I don't know if you know who Tom Paxton is.
Of course,
Tom Paxton is a very famous, iconic folk singer, and I learned how to finger pick my guitar to one of his songs, "The Last Thing on My Mind."
No kidding.
And so he was on the show.
Were you able to tell him that?
Yes. And I got to play with him and got to play that song with him. And actually, Judy Collins came on later and played that song for the finale, and I got to play that with her. So, I mean, there have been times like that.
Awesome.
When I was living in New Orleans, there was a song called Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues.
Yeah,
Remember that song?
Yeah, I do.
I love that song. And Danny, oh my God, forgotten his last name, who did the song, who wrote the song, was on the show, and I got to play the guitar solo on a you know. So I mean, these are full circle moments for me.
Of course, and that's amazing.
The guy that wrote Chip Taylor, the guy that wrote Wild Thing, and Angel of the Morning, and stuff like that.
That's so cool.
He was, we played Wild Thing with him. he said, it took me about 20 minutes to write that song, and he said he could retire on that, you know.
On the royalties.
You know, they did a 1-hour documentary on all the people who covered that song.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing. Ron, we're going to take a quick
Yeah.
break. This is Positively West
Yeah.
Virginia. We'll be right back. In a world obsessed with leadership, what if the real key to success is followership? We hear it all the time. Be a leader, take charge. But what if the most impactful people aren't the ones leading from the front? In Humble Influence, I explore how humility, collaboration, and shared purpose empower followers to create meaningful change in business, organizations, and relationships. Discover the strength of true followership with Humble Influence.
Now you can be old if you want to, and sit in your rocking chair. Complain about the food, complain about the weather, complain nobody cares. You can be grumpy and lonely, you can go on and on, yelling at the kids, yelling at the neighbors. Hey you, get off of my lawn. You can be sad and blue if that's what you choose. You can be old if you want to. It's all up to you.
Ron Sowell, ladies and gentlemen. Now, is that song on the new album,
Yes,
Dance
yes,
Till the
yes.
Music Stops?
Yes.
This is a new CD from Ron, his new album, 10 songs.
Yes.
I urge you to pick it up, and we'll have links to all that. We'll get to that here in a
Great,
little bit.
great.
Ron, this is awesome. You're just a joy to have in the studio
It's a
here
pleasure
today.
to be here.
I'm really glad to be able to share some of
Yeah.
this with our audience. Now, you know, what's your take on the music scene here in West Virginia? We mentioned Kathy Mattea. We've
Yeah.
had a lot of
Yeah.
West Virginia artists go on to big
Brad
international.
Paisley, Tyler, Tyler Childers is right over
Yeah.
the border. John Wesley Good.
It's Charles Wesley Godwin.
Charles Wesley Godwin.
Charles
Thank
Wesley
you.
Godwin from right here
Yeah.
in Morgantown.
Yeah, yeah.
He's big.
Yeah, he's-
But others, you know, I think, you know, Kathy Mattea. We've had little Jimmy Dickens.
Charlie McCoy.
I mean, there's been
Hazel Dickens.
Hazel Dickens.
Bill Withers.
Bill Withers.
By the way.
Lean on Me. Right. I mean,
Yeah,
just
one of
incredible.
one of the most famous songwriters in the world.
in the world.
From
And-
Slab Fork, West Virginia.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had a real
Yeah.
treasure of West Virginia artists
Yes.
make it big. We have Mountain Stage. We have Ron Sowell and the Putnam County Pickers.
Yeah.
We got to mention them. But what do you think about the music industry here in West Virginia right now? You see a lot. You interact
Yeah.
with a lot of musicians. Give us your take.
Well, it's just constantly evolving, and unlike when I first started out in the 70s, you know, there are a lot of songwriters and people doing original music, and it seems to me that and I felt this when I moved here. One of the things that I wanted to do with the Putnam County Pickers was to take all the musical influences that I had and put it together with this Appalachian thing that I felt here.
Yeah.
Because and all along, you know, I just come from Texas, and they had basically invented country rock.
That's right.
In the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Which was, you know, a merging of country music and rock music.
Roll, yeah, like
And-
Muscle Shoals and those studios,
yes,
and
yeah.
and you know, Alabama and the southern parts of Georgia and so forth.
So what I feel now, very strongly, is our time is here.
Yes.
People all over the country and all over the world are just craving something real and something authentic. And if there's anything that we are here in Appalachian, that's real and authentic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And people feel that, and that's why you have Charles
Wesley
Godwin, and you have Tyler Childers, and you have all these people from who, and I know I'm forgetting
part of
a
the country,
couple of other people, but that is a real. That's my friend. I produced an album by my friend Andrew Atkins, who's from Fayetteville, and Andrew is the real deal. And you know, he'll have his turn too. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they're
That's awesome.
great songwriter and singer, and all just singing about real stuff. And
Yeah. Well, I'm going to maybe go down a course here that may be a little controversial, but artificial intelligence in music. I mean, what's your take on that?
Well,
I'm curious.
The jury's out on it. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
So there's no, it's like you don't. You may not like the sun coming up tomorrow, but it's coming. You know, so you might as well work with it. Yeah. So they're. I think it can be a fabulous tool. Mm-hmm. I've heard some amazing creations. I mean, I'm sure you have too. But hopefully, it will never take the place of that human creative spark. And hopefully it won't put musicians out of business. I mean, as you're a drummer, right?
Yes, sir.
When they first came out with the drum machine, where you're probably a little bit threatened, well, wait a minute, they're not they're just going to show up with a drum machine.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And in it, and that has in the studio, those digital drums do take jobs away from drummers, but there's nothing like a real drummer, and there's nothing.
And it's interesting because I'm thinking as you're talking, like Pro Tools, which is an audio program for mixing and recording music now. You could be in a studio and you can hit that drum note, and it may be just a microsecond off. And you want to move that snare drum, you can go into Pro Tools and move it. And that's kind of the same thing, right? It's not really the real drummer because he actually didn't hit that note perfect, but we went in and fixed it.
Or if you sing a note flat.
Auto tune.
They're
exactly. I like the way you're thinking, especially somebody who's 78, and you've got an open mind here. So I'm going to share something with you.
Okay.
Because you asked about, I may have heard some AI music. I started in 2025, got back into the recording studio after decades of hiatus. A friend of mine asked me to go to help him write a couple of songs, and we did, and it got me on fire for writing, and that's what got me into the advertising business.
Oh, really?
You don't know my backstory, but I was a musician in college, thinking about dropping out, and I ended up in just a random person's office. He said, with your love of music and writing and poetry and all this kind of stuff, you should be in advertising. And that was my turning point. Okay. Like you talked about law school, so I started writing music, and I'm writing my lyrics, and I use some AI tools, and I'm producing songs. Now, they are kind of weird, because it's like, that's not even a human voice. It sounds amazing. Like the male and female harmonies sound amazing, but it's not real people. And that disturbs me a little bit. But what it does, it gives me a platform to get my songs out. Yeah. And that to me is, even if they're just for me. Now, what the other cool thing about that, and maybe this is something that we can talk about, is it used to be writing a song could take weeks or months or even years. It's just a song. And then to record it and get your musicians. Now you can do a demo. I could do a demo when I'm sitting, in front of my fireplace in the evening. And I could do it like in a half an hour, and it's a complete demo.
And it sounds good.
Sounds good. To take it to somebody and say, hey guys, what do you think about this song? So I think that it's going to accelerate the songwriting process.
Hopefully it'll just be another creative tool.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping.
That's
thank you for
every time something comes up and say, well, people are going this is going to replace humanity, and so far we're good, but of course this may be the one that
you hit the word. And I've been saying it since AI really hit the scene big in the commercial market in 2022. Is humanity. How do we leverage this technology for humanity, but also the people that are going to win with, especially generative large language model, generative AI, is going to be the people who can instill the human touch into it. Leverage the tool, make sure that it's human, because that is, and by the way, I don't think we'll ever have machines up on stage playing live, because I love live music.
Well, I hope not anytime soon anyway.
Well, there's just something about it, my wife and I went with some other friends down to the Purple Fiddle. And
great
and
venue,
Thomas, my
great
friend
venue.
John Bright owns that business, and we went down there to see this band. It was a trio called Danger Muffin, and they're just they're kind of like a eclectic, like I don't know, maybe a jam band or something. But those guys are such players, and just to watch them, I mean, I'm mesmerized. Like, what is the guy doing? He was playing bass notes with his guitar. It's like he had like a special 2 output.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I'm like, what does he do? I was mesmerized, Ron. Like that human experience of watching a musician play.
The thing is, I play the piano player. Not Bob Thompson, which I play with in Mountain Stage, fabulous piano
amazing,
player. But there's a guy named Jeff Hott that I play with. He is on this album, and I play with him every Sunday. I have this little church gig, and we play every Sunday.
That's awesome.
And he was a vocal educated vocal educator, and taught school for 45 years. He taught me something that just I still get chills when I think about it.
Okay.
He said, and maybe I don't know if you've ever heard this, when you sing with a group of people, and you will get people singing together, within a short amount of time, your heartbeats begin to synchronize. And that, to me, now that's, I don't know that AI will ever do that.
You're talking about human connection.
I'm talking about human connection.
Yeah.
And that to me is what music is.
That's beautiful.
All about.
Yeah. And I could see that because you're breathing, you're kind of getting in sync. And when 2 people harmonize is amazing. 4-part harmony is like incredible, right? Yeah. And you feel it in your chest when you're singing that.
It's funny. Spin off a little story. Yeah. The last song on this album is called "Out There in the Hall."
Yeah.
And it's a story of my memory of you were speaking about 4-part harmony. Yeah. My dad had a beautiful tenor voice, sang in a barbershop quartet.
Oh my!
And they used to practice in the living room. Oh. And on Friday nights, and the men would bring their wives with them, and the women would be in the kitchen. They'd be drinking coffee and playing cards and laughing. I could hear them laughing in there, and all this beautiful music coming out of the living room. And I'd sneak out in the hall, and just stay there, and I would sing with the quartet,
no kidding.
And
trying to find your part.
Yeah. And that's how I fell in love with harmony, and that's what this what the song is. That's awesome. Is a memory.
It's a beautiful story. Yeah, that's awesome. So let me ask you, if there's somebody out there thinking maybe it's a young 13-year-old boy who just got a guitar, and says, how do I make a career out of music? What would you tell them? I really, this is how I believe. If you have a really passion for it, and you have a real love for it, just do it. The way will open up for you. I mean, I had no idea how to be a professional musician. I loaded all my stuff into my 1956 Dodge and headed for the nearest big city. And of course, you can imagine my dad was thrilled that I had gotten a bachelor's degree in political science, and I was not going to go to law school. Your dad, you said, was a banker. Mine was too. Oh, so you can imagine his excitement. Yeah. But I just felt like this is something I had to do, and you go and you do it, and you work hard at it, and you do it with all of your heart, and the next door will open for you, and the next door will open after that. Yeah. And that's great. That's
so there's not really a formula, I think.
That's great advice.
I mean, honestly. You can get you get all the education you can, get all the prep you can. Well,
I think what you just said there is, you just got to go all in. And you can sit there and dabble in it, and that's fine. But if you want to make a career, if you want to make this your livelihood, go for it.
It was like I heard this story of, I think it was Michael Caine, but it could have been another British actor. Okay, he was doing a master class at some college. Yeah. And one of the students raised their hand and says, "Well, Mr. Caine, the same question you just asked me. Yeah. What would you do?" It was, well, get into the best college you can and go do the prep, and go, and do this and do that, the student said, "Well, I read your bio. You didn't do any of those things." And he said, "Well, I didn't ask anybody for permission. I didn't."
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Ron Sowell, your latest album is called Dance Till the Music Stops. It's a beautiful picture of your little girl there when she was a young girl.
Okay.
How can folks learn more about your music, learn more about you, get the CD?
Yeah.
What's the best way to do that?
Best way to do it is to go to my website, RonSowell, RonSowell.com.
Yeah.
And you can read my bio there. You can read places I'll be playing. You can read. You can order the CD.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's the way I would prefer you listen to it. But if you don't, if you want to take the easy and the immediate way out, you can go to Spotify or just about any place that they have music. It's all there.
That's great. So
and also, Ron Sowell Music is my Facebook. And,
okay, good.
And that's
they can follow along there as well.
Yeah.
So, Ron, as we wrap up our time here, is there anything else from your story or related to our discussion you think our listeners should know?
I want to tell you what really the thing that really moved me to and that was the title song of this album called "Dance Till the Music Stops," and I had a friend in high school. It was a few years younger than me. And we were just acquaintances, but we got to know each other. He married my dad's secretary.
Okay.
And so over the years, when I go back home and we become much better friends, his name was Dusty. And Dusty developed early onset Alzheimer's and in his 50s.
Oh, no.
And one of his friends came to him and said, and so he knew what was happening to him. He said, "Dusty, what are you going to do?" And he thought for a minute, and when Heidi, his wife, told me this story, it just stopped me in my tracks, and I knew I had to write a song about it. He said, "Oh, I don't know. I guess I'll just dance till the music stops." And so I knew I had to write a song about that.
Yeah,
and
powerful.
that, in a sense, the album is about being in the moment, living here. You're not worrying about the past, not worrying about the future, not worrying about getting old, just staying vibrant and present. And that's what really all these songs are about, and that's why I think you should get the CD.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to dive into it. I'm going to listen to it myself. I'm going to pass the word on and encourage everybody to get Ron Sowell's latest CD and album, "Dance Till the Music Stops." Ron Sowell is our guest today. He's the music director of Mountain Stage, but so much more. A musician, a great guy, and I've been inspired by your story, Ron. Thank you for being on the show today. I consider you my friend, and I'm just honored to have you here today. And I just want to encourage you to keep going. Dance till the music stops.
That's it.
I love it. That's my lesson for today. I appreciate you bringing that today. Folks, this is a wrap on another episode of Positively West Virginia. It's just been an honor to have you guys listen today. Ron Sowell has a great story. I would encourage you to get a CD. It's called "Dance Till the Music Stops." It's right here. It's available on his website. We'll have links for that. And make sure you share these episodes. It not only promotes him, but also promotes Positively West Virginia. We're trying to shine a light on all the positive things that are happening in business here in the great state of West Virginia, the Mountain State. On behalf of our entire Positively West Virginia team, including our producer today, Mr. Jimmy Murray behind the controls over there. Jimmy, good job. I'm your host, Jim Matuga. Stay positive, West Virginia.
We'd like to thank our partners, Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, InnerAction Media, Humble Influence, and our studio sponsor, Breezeline, for helping to share these positive stories. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the Positively West Virginia podcast, visit positivelywv.com/sponsor.